Hi guys, this is Max here, back again with hopefully another great political video, and today it is time for another Senate prediction since a new month, the month of December, just began. Now, what are we going to look at today? Well, some races have changed in their ratings, however, most of them stayed mostly constant. If I had to point out some big highlights, then it'd probably be the exit of Sean Parnell in the Pennsylvania Senate race for the Republicans, and the entry of Dr. Oz, a media personality and former heart surgeon, into the otherwise crowded primary field. Also, a senator from my home state of Vermont retired. His name is Patrick Leahy, and he'll probably be replaced by incumbent U.S. Representative Peter Welch. So Peter Welch is probably going to win the Democratic primary, and he'll obviously win the general election. Then we'll find out in about a year. Now, let's take a look at all the elections though, because apart from Vermont and Pennsylvania, there are a lot of races that are going to take place next November. And I think the first one that we are going to rate will be the safe Republican race in the state of Idaho, followed by Utah, North Dakota, which has John Hoeven as the incumbent, somebody who usually wins by ridiculous margins, even for North Dakota standards. South Dakota, Chuck Grassley is running again, even though he has literally served the state of Iowa in some form or another as a representative in the state or in the federal government for a third of the state's existence. Now, Kansas will be safe Republican, so will be Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Kentucky, Indiana, South Carolina with Tim Scott on the ballot. Missouri will be safe. It might have been closer back in the old days, but nowadays Missouri is just it has trended so far to the right that it is basically a safe Republican state now. Obama was really the last Democrat who had a shot at winning it. I believe this should be all the safe Republican races apart from Alaska. Actually, you could rate Alaska as likely because it is a very independently minded state, politically speaking. However, I don't really see a way in which a Democrat will be able to win that race, so I'm going to rate it as safe Republican for now. The Democrats got their own safe races, though. California, Oregon, it will be at the breach of being likely, but it still will be a safe state. Washington, New York, Connecticut, Vermont. Phil Scott is not going to run for Senate, by the way. He's going to run for re-election as governor, which I'm very much fine with. I'm actually fine with Phil Scott. He's a decent governor. And Maryland being also safe Democrat. And no, okay, Maryland. Yeah, Maryland is going to be safe Democrat, and of course Hawaii. Now, these should be all the safe states for either party, making 11 races at least possibly competitive. Now, I'll put it as likely Democrat because the state is trending to the right, especially the rural regions of it. And in a Republican favorable year, Tammy Duckworth she'll fall below 15%, therefore making the race a likely race for the Democrats. Just a likely race. And now, are there any other likely Democrat races? To be honest, I don't think so. But there will be a couple of Republican likely races. Florida, Ohio, and this will be a bolder prediction, but probably Wisconsin as well. Now, Ron Johnson might be kind of a far right wing figure for Wisconsin, but he has the rare ability of being able to appeal to both suburban voters in the Waukesha area and to people in the Driftless area who are more working class, because he does have that energized base. He does know how to get people out in order to vote for him. And in Wisconsin, that is a state where turnout and energy, how can you connect to your average voter as a politician, has a big influence on who's going to win. So you don't necessarily need to be a moderate, but you do need to have a good platform, and you need to be able to fire people up. In the state, those are, I believe, are all the likely states. Now let's move on to the lean ones. I believe there's Colorado as a lean Democrat state. I did rate it as a likely race earlier this year, but seeing how much Joe Biden has tanked in terms of popularity right now, I do think we will see a very good performance for Republicans nationwide, and it might even be possible that they pick up the Colorado Senate race like they did in 2014. Probably that senator would lose re-election in 2028, but that's a bit far into the future, so let's not talk about that right now. What we should talk about, though, is the state of New Hampshire, because Chris Sununu has now officially announced that he'll run for re-election as governor, so the primary field for the Republicans is very much an open one. Maggie Hassan is not as popular as Jean Shaheen. She very well might be going to lose. And if she loses, she'd probably lose against Scott Brown, a former senator from Massachusetts, ran against Jean Shaheen for Senate in New Hampshire, and he might run again for Senate, this time against Maggie Hassan. Now, he would, as far as I'm concerned, probably be the first senator ever to represent two different states. In fact, we should look that up. He is under the candidates in the 2022 Senate races for the state of New Hampshire. Now, Scott Brown isn't listed here. I just want to fully clarify that. For the Republicans... Oh no, he has declined. Scott Brown has declined. Never mind. Scott Brown has declined, so... Yeah, it really doesn't look good for the Republicans in terms of the state of New Hampshire. They don't have any statewide known figures running for office. But they do have Donald C. Baldock, who is a U.S. Army Special Force Brigadier General. So, I don't know, he might make a good dark horse candidate. However, the factor of the incumbency will be positive for Maggie Hassan. So we're going to leave New Hampshire out for now. But we're not going to leave out the state of Nevada and Arizona, and of course not Georgia or North Carolina. North Carolina will be lean, I believe. Ted Budd is ultimately going to win the nomination. He's actually a good guy. He has my endorsement. I fully support Ted Budd. He has a great platform. That is how a Republican is supposed to be. Now, maybe in Arizona we could say Mark Kelly is... I'm not sure. I mean, he's a good candidate, but Arizona is a swing state. And as of right now, it really looks like the 2022 midterms are going to be very favorable for Republicans. And it doesn't really matter who is going to run. If the Republicans run a person that is at least well known in the state of Arizona, or decently well known, like the Attorney General, you could say that they're just going to pull it off. But, I mean, Mark Kelly, he's a former astronaut, he's a moderate, he's the perfect type of candidate for Arizona. And even though I believe that the Republicans will easily retake the House in 2022, with the Senate, it is a different question. And I actually think that if Mark Kelly does everything right, he will be able to hold on to his seat. It is a bold prediction, but I think he might actually be able to pull it off. I do not think, though, that in the state of Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto is going to get so lucky. I think she's probably going to lose. She'll probably end up running against Adam Laxalt, the Attorney General of Nevada nominee for governor. The former Attorney General, that is. And Catherine Cortez Masto, she's not as popular as even Jackie Rosen. Jackie Rosen won by 5%, she just won by 2.5%. And even though Nevada is not a very flexible state, when the national environment goes so far to the right as it will in 2022, I do believe she'll ultimately end up coming short. So it might be a bit of a strange map to see Arizona blue and Nevada red, but this might be very well what we end up seeing this cycle. Now, this gives us 3 more states. Whom are they going to go to? Well, Georgia, I actually believe at this point it's pretty sure that Raphael Warnock's gonna lose. I mean, you see the trends in the Georgia suburbs slightly reversing. Polling data does not really show Joe Biden at a good point in Georgia. And basically, the only reason why the 2 Democrats won those Senate races in 2020 is because of terrible press for Republicans nationwide from Donald Trump claiming that the election was stolen. And even though not everything in this election went down completely the way it's supposed to go down, it's not like this would be the first time. And you cannot really complain about the rules being unfair when you did not complain about the rules being unfair last time. So Every undemocratic aspect of the way how we run our elections is something that needs to be addressed every single election cycle in a peaceful way, and not just every now and then very chaotically when it just happens to fit our own the situation that we find ourselves in. So yeah, stop the steal is bullshit. However, that doesn't mean that the Republican Party is bullshit. It is in many ways a very good and decent party, sometimes a bit corrupted by elites and special interests, but in general, it is the party of rural America. It is the party of, increasingly, the party of the working class, as it should be, and therefore I believe that Pennsylvania, under the leadership of Dr. Oz, will end up being a Republican pickup. And I feel pretty confident about this, because even though John Fetterman might be able to do well with the working class, that is also Dr. Oz. He's a celebrity. He's well known, he has character, and he has a very good platform. And actually, I think I'm going to make a whole video about Dr. Oz. He is a perfect candidate for the US Senate. And I do believe that he's going to win that race quite handily, and that especially in the Rust Belt, you'll see a surge in Republican support this time around. New Hampshire will be the last state, and I actually thought that it would be that New Hampshire would be lean or likely Republican, since I was so sure Chris Sununu, he's going to run, but apparently that is not going to happen. So the question is, who will it be then? Well, I never thought I'd make that call, but it actually looks like Maggie Hassan might have a chance at holding on after all. Because there's no really well-known figure in the state of New Hampshire. And even though it is a swing state, which it definitely is, it does have a Democrat-leaning history as a state. So that's just the way it is. And it might actually happen that, she holds on, but the Republicans are still going to pick up the Senate. Now, 52-48, that might sound a bit disappointing, you could say, for what's supposed to become a Republican wave year, but it really depends on the individual races. And that's what makes the Senate so unique and good, is that not always national trends are directly reflected, but it is being reflected what people in the individual states want, and that's the reason why I like the Senate so much. The House is supposed to represent the direct will of the people, and the Senate is supposed to represent the states, who are of course made up of people who are electing senators. But I'm very happy about our American system, and I think that as well would deserve a video giving some cheers and some very slight fair criticism. Now, I hope you guys liked this video. Likes, comments, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. I hope you'll have a great night, a great day after that, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.